Look at that dusty little brown bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet. You probably bought this 3% hydrogen peroxide for 97 cents at Walmart. But to a $5 billion pest control industry, that cheap bottle is a massive threat. Have you ever wondered why a single visit from an exterminator costs between $150 and $300? We have been conditioned to believe that only heavy, expensive chemicals can protect our homes. If it does not smell toxic and carry a skull and crossbones label, we assume it does not work. This is a brilliant marketing illusion, and it keeps you paying for premium poisons when a powerful, natural pest control solution is already in your cabinet. It is called H2O2. Even federal law helps protect this massive corporate monopoly. Under a law known as FIFRA, commercial exterminators are legally banned from using unregistered household substances. They must use approved branded chemical sprays. So even if cheap hydrogen peroxide works perfectly, they cannot use it. But you can, and the science behind it is devastatingly simple. Hydrogen peroxide is simply water with an extra oxygen atom, but that single extra atom makes the entire molecule highly unstable. The moment it touches organic matter, it violently breaks down into nothing but pure water and clean oxygen. How does something that turns into water and air destroy stubborn pests? How does it defeat bugs that survive industrial poisons? The answer lies in a microscopic cellular-level massacre. Imagine a war zone hidden right inside your flower pots. Most people only notice those annoying little black flies buzzing around their indoor plants. Those are fungus gnats, and if you want to know how to kill fungus gnats and reclaim your home, you have to look deeper. Because those flying pests are only 10% of the problem. The real destruction is happening beneath the surface, hidden in the dark. Deep beneath the damp soil of your favorite houseplants, a silent invasion is unfolding. A single female fungus gnat can lay up to 200 eggs in that warm, moist dirt. Those flying bugs you see buzzing around your living room are only 10% of the problem. The remaining 90% of the threat is hiding right beneath your eyes. These are the larvae. They are microscopic, translucent worms that feast directly on your plant's delicate root hairs. They are literally starving your plants from the bottom up. Most expensive chemical sprays cannot even reach them down there without poisoning the soil itself. This is where your 97-cent bottle of hydrogen peroxide becomes a tactical weapon. When you pour a diluted mixture into the dirt, you will immediately hear a violent fizzing and bubbling. To your ears, it sounds like a satisfying chemical reaction, but to the pests, it is a microscopic execution. Living tissues, including those of the larvae, contain a specific enzyme called catalase. The moment hydrogen peroxide contacts this enzyme, it triggers an instant, violent breakdown. The unstable H2O2 molecule violently splits apart. It releases millions of pressurized, microscopic oxygen bubbles. This is not a chemical poisoning. It is a physical explosion at the cellular level. These tiny pests have incredibly thin skin and breathe through microscopic pores called spiracles. The sudden rush of pressurized oxygen bubbles instantly clogs their breathing pores, suffocating them. At the exact same time, highly reactive hydroxyl-free radicals tear through their delicate outer membranes. It literally shreds the larvae and their eggs within seconds. Yet your plant remains completely unharmed. This is not just a DIY garden hack. This is proven agricultural science. Researchers at university extension programs, including the University of California's Integrated Pest Management Program, have analyzed this process. Their study suggests that hydrogen peroxide is a highly effective natural pest control solution for managing soil-borne pathogens. And the absolute best part? It leaves behind zero toxic chemical residue. Once the reaction is complete, it breaks down into nothing but pure water and clean oxygen. To do this safely at home, you only need a standard 3% hydrogen peroxide solution from the drugstore. Mix 1 part hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts clean water. Gently pour this solution directly onto the dry soil until it drains out the bottom of the pot. Do not be alarmed by the intense fizzing. That is simply the sound of your soil being completely purified. But clearing out underground pests is really just the warm-up. What truly terrifies the multi-billion-dollar chemical and fertilizer corporations is what this simple bottle does next. Because this same $1 bottle can easily cure the ultimate death sentence for almost any household plant. We are talking about root rot. This brings us to what industry insiders call the oxygenation lie. Big garden centers love selling you expensive bottled root revitalizers and anti-rot treatments, but if you look at the chemical patents, many of these costly products are just slow-release oxygen compounds. They are charging you $20 for something you can do yourself for pennies. You see, when you overwater a plant, you are not actually drowning it with water. You are suffocating it by cutting off its oxygen supply. Without oxygen, the soil becomes a stagnant, suffocating tomb. This is the ultimate breeding ground for deadly anaerobic pathogens like Pythium. These destructive microbes thrive only where there is no air. They attack the weakened roots, turning them into a black, slimy mush. But these anaerobic microbes have a fatal weakness. They hate oxygen the way darkness hates light. Because they evolved in oxygen-poor environments, they lack the protective antioxidant enzymes to survive oxygen exposure. The moment you introduce hydrogen peroxide, it releases highly active singlet oxygen. This singlet oxygen acts like a microscopic search and destroy missile. It instantly destroys the anaerobic bacteria on contact. At the exact same time, it delivers vital, life-saving oxygen directly to the suffocating root cells. It is literally like performing CPR on a dying plant. If your plant is already suffering from severe root rot, do not throw it away yet. Some experienced gardeners suggest gently pulling the plant from its pot and washing away the infected soil. You can then soak the damaged roots in a highly diluted hydrogen peroxide bath before repotting. This simple step helps sanitize the remaining root tissue and encourages fresh, white roots to grow. But the power of this simple molecule does not stop beneath the soil. It is also a devastating weapon against the pests hiding right on the leaves. Take mealybugs and spider mites, for example. These tiny invaders protect themselves with a tough, waxy outer coating. Most standard chemical sprays simply slide right off this protective shield. But hydrogen peroxide acts as a powerful oxidizing solvent. It literally melts away that waxy armor on contact. Once their shield is gone, the pests quickly dehydrate and die. To do this safely, mix just 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 cup of clean water. But there is a critical warning you must remember. Never spray this mixture on your plants under direct, harsh sunlight. The water droplets can act like tiny magnifying lenses, focusing the sun's rays and burning the leaves. Instead, always apply it in the late evening or at dusk. This is one of the most effective DIY garden hacks you will ever use. But please be careful. Before you run to your medicine cabinet and start mixing, you need to understand something critical. There is an extremely thin line between a miracle home remedy and a dangerous chemical reaction. One wrong mix could ruin your plants, or worse, trigger a reaction that could send you to the emergency room. And this is the exact reason why professional exterminators always keep quiet about it. If you scroll through TikTok or Pinterest, you will see countless creators telling you to mix hydrogen peroxide with white vinegar. They claim it is the ultimate DIY cleaning spray. But this is actually a potentially deadly mistake. When you combine these 2 household liquids in a bottle, they react to form peracetic acid. This is not a gentle home remedy. It is a highly corrosive substance. Breathing in the fumes can cause severe damage to your lungs. It can trigger temporary blindness if it splashes into your eyes, and it will easily cause painful skin irritation. If you want to use both of these ingredients, you must follow a strict safety rule. Apply one first, rinse the surface completely with water, and wait at least 24 hours. Only then can you safely apply the second one. Never, under any circumstances, mix them together in the same container. You also need to understand that not all hydrogen peroxide is the same. The brown bottle in your medicine cabinet is usually 3% concentration. This is household grade, and it is incredibly safe when used correctly. Then there is beautician grade, which ranges from 6% to 12%. Salons use this strength to bleach hair. If you get this on your hands, it can easily irritate and redden your skin. But the real danger is 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide. This concentration is highly volatile and extremely dangerous. If you drop a single splash on a piece of raw meat, it instantly bubbles and turns the tissue bone white. If it touches your bare skin, it immediately kills your epidermal cells. This leaves a chalky white chemical burn. You must always wear heavy-duty gloves and protective eyewear when handling it. So why does the multi-billion-dollar pest control industry keep so quiet about the safer 3% bottle? It all comes down to a clever legal loophole and a system designed to protect corporate giants. Under federal law, specifically the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, known as FIFRA, any substance marketed to kill pests must be officially registered. This registration process with the EPA is incredibly difficult. It can take several years and cost millions of dollars. Mega corporations like Bayer and Syngenta easily pay these fees to secure their monopolies. But hydrogen peroxide is a simple, natural compound. Because it cannot be patented, no single company can own it. No corporation is going to spend millions of dollars to register a product they cannot monopolize. This means it is technically illegal for a company to sell hydrogen peroxide as a commercial pesticide. But here is the twist. This law only governs commercial sales and labeling. It does not apply to what you do in the privacy of your own home. The federal government is not going to knock on your door for pouring a $1 bottle into your own garden. Now that you know how to use it safely, without violating chemistry or federal law, it is time to step inside. Because there is one area where exterminators charge you the most, yet it is the exact place where hydrogen peroxide works best. Let us head into your kitchen and into the dark, damp corners where the real invaders hide. Let us step inside your kitchen. This is where professional exterminators charge you the absolute most, yet it is the exact place where this simple molecule works its greatest miracles. Look under your kitchen sink. It is dark, damp, and the perfect breeding ground for toxic mold. Most people immediately reach for chlorine bleach, believing it is the ultimate cure. But this is what experts call the Great Bleach Lie. Chlorine bleach has a molecular structure that is simply too large to penetrate porous surfaces. It cannot sink into wood, plaster, or drywall. Instead, it just sits on top, stripping away the dark color. It makes the mold invisible, but it leaves the organism alive. Even worse, the water in that bleach solution sinks deep into the material. This moisture actually feeds the hidden fungal roots, known as mycelium. You think you solved the problem, but you just fed the enemy. A few weeks later, the mold returns, stronger and more widespread. Hydrogen peroxide works in a completely different way. Its molecular structure is actually smaller than water. This allows it to seep deep into the tightest wood fibers. Once it reaches the root, it releases a rapid, violent burst of oxygen. This reaction physically tears the mold spores apart from the inside out. You will literally hear it working as it fizzes and bubbles, lifting the dead fungus to the surface. And unlike bleach, it leaves absolutely no toxic chemical residue behind. Just remember to test a tiny hidden spot first, as it can slightly discolor dark wood. But this bottle is not just for mold. It is also your ultimate food-safe defense against kitchen pests. Take the common household ant. Ants navigate your kitchen using invisible chemical highways called pheromone trails. Spraying a 3% solution directly onto these paths instantly dissolves their chemical map. The ants become completely lost, unable to find their way back to your food. If you spray them directly, the liquid breaks down their protective outer shell. It acts as a highly effective contact killer. Yet, it is completely safe to use around your family. You can spray it on cutting boards, countertops, and pantry shelves without a second thought. But how do you turn this science into a practical home defense system? Get your phone ready. I am about to reveal the exact formulas the pest control industry wants to keep secret. Before you mix a single drop, there is one rule that can make or break your success. Never use regular tap water. Tap water is filled with dissolved minerals, heavy metals, and chlorine. These elements trigger a premature chemical reaction. They break down your hydrogen peroxide before it ever touches a pest. To keep your mixtures powerful and stable, always use distilled water. Let us start with your first weapon, the soil drench. This is your ultimate guide on how to kill fungus gnats and the tiny larvae wrecking your houseplants. Mix 1 part of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts of distilled water. Wait until your plant's soil is completely dry to the touch. Then pour this mixture directly onto the dirt until it drains out the bottom. You will hear a soft fizzing sound as it destroys hidden eggs on contact. Apply this once a week until the pests are gone. Next is the leaf shield, designed to tackle aphids, spider mites, and thrips. Combine 2 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 cup of distilled water. Then add just 2 drops of organic Castile soap. The soap acts as a surfactant. This helps the liquid cling to the leaves instead of sliding off. It also helps break down the waxy outer coating of the insects. Spray this directly onto the infected foliage. Be sure to coat the undersides of the leaves where pests love to hide. Do this in the evening to prevent sun damage to your plants. Finally, we have the kitchen sanitizer and insect barrier. For this, you do not need to dilute anything. Simply pour undiluted 3% hydrogen peroxide straight into a clean spray bottle. Spray it directly onto your countertops, cutting boards, and known ant trails. Let it sit undisturbed for 10 full minutes to completely sanitize the area. Then, wipe it away with a clean, damp cloth. It leaves behind a spotless surface, completely free of toxic chemical odors. With these 3 simple formulas, you can reclaim your home. But this is only the beginning of your journey to chemical independence. What happens when you completely cut ties with the commercial pest control industry? There is one final, critical secret you need to know, and it involves a hidden vulnerability right inside your plumbing. With these simple formulas, you now hold the power to protect your home and your wallet. You no longer have to rely on overpriced, toxic commercial contracts. You just reclaimed your entire space for less than 50 cents. Think about the peace of mind that brings. No more chemical anxiety keeping you up at night. No more strangers spraying mystery liquids near your pets and children. The giant pest control corporations rely on our collective silence. They want us to believe that a safe home must be an expensive one. But simple science has officially proven them wrong. As you begin using these methods, always keep basic safety in mind. This guide is for educational and DIY purposes. Remember to test your mixtures on a small, hidden area first. And if you ever handle high-concentration hydrogen peroxide, always wear protective eyewear. A little caution goes a long way. But your journey to chemical and financial independence does not stop here. In fact, there is another massive industry quietly draining your bank account right under your nose, and it is happening right inside your kitchen sink. You have probably been told that mixing baking soda and vinegar is the ultimate natural drain cleaner. But what if that classic trick is actually a scientific illusion? What if it is designed to keep you calling expensive plumbers for emergency repairs? There is a massive plumbing loophole they desperately want to keep off the internet. Click on the video on your screen right now. Let us dismantle their biggest secret together.